All right, today you're going to be working with the area and circumference of circles. So let's define a circle. Let's see, they say it is a locus of points in a plane that are a fixed distance from a point called the center. So a locus of points in a plane that are a fixed distance from the center of the circle. Can't write today. Basically a set of points in a plane that are a fixed distance from the center of the circle. What would that fixed distance be called?
The radius.
Very good, the radius. You got a circle. Circle's got a center. All right, and this line that formed the circle is just an infinite number of points that eventually touch each other. That they're all the same distance from the center, and that distance is the radius. All right, the radius. The radius is equal to half the diameter, isn't it? 1/2 diameter, or you can just call it diameter divided by 2. The radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2. The diameter goes all the way, the diameter technically goes from one side of the circle to the other side of the circle through the center. So the blue line here, that's your diameter. And that's equal to, that's 2 times the radius. While we're here, let's just say that the area of this circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. Pi times the radius squared. The circumference of the circle it has two formulas. The circumference from the circumference of the circle is how far it is around the circle. The distance around the circle. So one of the formulas for circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. And since 2 times the radius is equal to the diameter, the circumference is also equal to pi times the diameter. Either one, pi times the diameter. Any questions so far? Example 1A. find each measurement, and they ask you to find the area of a circle. And here's the diagram. And they put the 16 centimeters right there. Sometimes it gets confusing whether they're giving you the diameter or the radius. So if you're not sure, ask. But in this case, they're giving you the diameter. So if area is equal to pi times r squared, the radius of this circle would be half of the diameter. So the radius would be 8, wouldn't it? So the area would be equal to pi times 8 squared. It depends on, let's see. Here's what they ask you for. Define the area of circle P in terms of pi. In terms of pi means leave the pi symbol in your answer. You just, you treat it like a variable. So in this case, the area would be equal to 64 pi. Now, since we're dealing with area, area is always in units squared or square units. So this would be, here's the symbol you'll see, centimeters squared. And what that means is square centimeters. Make any sense? A square centimeter is a centimeter, or is a square that is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. That is one of these. Yes?
Does the number always go before the pi sign?
Yes. Yeah. The number's always going to go before the pi sign. Example 1b. Ask you to find the radius. And I'm just going to cut this down a little bit, but they're asking you to find the radius when the circumference equals 24 pi. So the easiest way I feel to do these, you got to identify what they're asking for. And then you got to get formulas down. All right? If they're giving you the circumference, if you know that the circumference is equal to 24 times pi, and you know that the circumference is also equal to 2 times pi times the radius. Once I can see that on paper, well, I know that this is equal to this. They're both equal to the circumference, right? If 24 pi is equal to the circumference and 2 pi r is equal to the circumference, then these two are equal to each other. And there's an r in here, isn't there? So 24 pi is equal to 2 pi r. And when you've got a pi on each side of the equal sign, you can just cancel it, because it's the same as dividing both sides by pi. And now you can solve by r by dividing both sides by 2. So 12 is equal to the radius. Make sense? Yes?
Why did you use the first circumference one instead of pi times the diameter?
What are we trying to find?
The radius.
Why would I use the diameter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if they would ask you to find the diameter,
Then you would use the other one?
then we would have used the other formula. Yes.
Okay.
Let's see, example 1c. And they're asking for circumference, so find circumference when the area is equal to 9x squared, okay, 9x squared pi centimeters squared. This part is the area. It's just your dimensions are in centimeters, and that's why the centimeters squared is at the end. And you're looking for circumference. So, you've got an area, and you need a circumference. So, look, area is equal to pi r squared, right? Circumference equals 2 pi r. So, if you know the area, you can find the radius, can't you? And that's the way you have to work through these problems. If you know the area and the radius is in the area formula, then you can solve for the radius. So you can set this area, 9x squared pi, equal to the formula for the area, which is pi times r squared. So you can cancel these pi's. And if 9x squared equals r squared, and you're trying to solve for r, then you find the square root of both sides. So the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of x squared is x. And that's going to be equal to your radius. So now that you know your radius, you can go over here and substitute. So they're asking for circumference. The circumference formula is 2 times pi times the radius, which in this case is 3x. So you can multiply these two right here, the 2 times the 3x. So the circumference is going to be equal to 6x pi. And that would be centimeters. Yes, sir.
But it doesn't say in terms of pi.
What I would do, I would start listing your answers just like this. And you can also take 6 times the pi button if you want. So who's got a calculator? Mine's a really old one. In your calculator, take 6 times, push the pi button, and hit equals.
118.8.
What is it? So this would also be approximately 18.8 x centimeters. Not squared because it's area. Or it's not area. Okay.
So only squared is area.
Correct. So that gives you the answer in both forms. Make sense?
So even when it's not asking for it in terms of pi, you still have the pi symbol? Or no?
I would honestly, when you're dealing with pi in any problems that you're doing, if they ask you from step 1 to round to the nearest tenth, wait till the last step of the problem to round to the nearest tenth or nearest hundredth. If you just keep using the pi symbol throughout the problem, your answers, the calculator is going to keep using 3.141. They're going to use as much of the value as they can. As soon as you round the pi symbol, you're losing all those extra places. So finish the problem, whether they ask for it in pi or a decimal. Finish the problem in terms of pi. And then just do your math times the pi button and round it to the nearest tenth or hundredth. And you'll have 2 really accurate answers. Okay? All right, let's try the check it out number 1 there on page 689. Find the area in terms of pi. So let's see, area. in terms of pi, and not in which, but we're going to go with when, area when the circumference is equal to 4x minus 6 pi. Centimeters. So, if the circumference is equal to 4x minus 6 pi, and the circumference, you know circumference is equal to 2 pi r, isn't it? Well then, isn't 2 pi r, 2 pi r going to be equal to 4x minus 6 pi? Agreed? They gave you the circumference, so make that equal to the circumference formula. Now, cancel your pi's. And you're trying to get the r by itself because you need the radius to find the area, don't you? And you're using the circumference to find the radius. So if you divide both sides by 2, these 2's will cancel. And your radius is equal to 4x divided by 2 is 2x, and negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So, there's your radius. So, area equals pi times radius squared. So, your area is going to be equal to pi times 2x minus 3 squared, right? Or 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. So you're just going to do distributive property twice, combine like terms, and you can find your area in terms of pi. So just leave the, you can either leave the pi symbol, I would just bring it down right now so you don't forget it. So then you got 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared. And then you got 2x times negative 3, which is negative 6x. And then negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. You've got like terms in the middle. All right? So, the pi symbol needs to go at the end or all the way to the right at the end to be proper. So we're going to say that this is all equal to 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 pi meters squared. Because your initial measurement, centimeters, was given, or circumference was given in meters. Any questions? All right, your assignment for today is on page 691 again. Not again. 691, you got 2 through 5. And then 10 through 13. Please be sure to show all your work. And remember, do these on a separate sheet of paper. Don't do them on your notes because there's a real good chance I'm going to collect them tomorrow.